So this was a really interesting episode, but before I say anything else, I have to say rest in peace to YOUPI. YOUPI, you lived a very long and fruitful life. Well, you didn't really live that long. Now that I think about it, you were probably only a couple months old. I'm trying to imagine, what would YOUPI's tombstone say? Here lies YOUPI, born in 2014, died in 2014. Half man, half horse, half bug thingy with red skin and wings and a permanent football helmet on. Royal guard for life. It will probably say something like that. This was a pretty interesting episode overall. First of all, YOUPI's dead. Komugi's in a box in some random warehouse. Poof is coughing up blood. And the king just doesn't give a damn like usual. This was a great episode. Let's get into the review. So the episode starts off with Poof flying through the air. He's basically spreading his scales on the remaining citizens that haven't been hypnotized yet. In his mind, Poof is thinking, I really hope that the king doesn't get his memories back. I hope that he doesn't remember Komugi. I like the state that he's in now. I don't want him to be consumed with this girl, this human. The citizens are starting to become restless, confused, and curious about what's happening. They hear sounds from the palace, the battle sounds. All of Pito's puppets are dead. So as we switch over to the next scene, we see Palm and Akalgo. They're in the underground complex. They're trying to devise a plan to get Knuckle and Melaron back. They're thinking about using Komugi as some sort of leverage. This is like some sort of weird hostage negotiation situation, but both sides have hostages. Akalgo wants to use Welfin as a messenger. He wants Welfin to go to either the king or the royal guards and tell them that they're holding Komugi in the underground warehouse and they're willing to talk out some sort of negotiation, make a deal if they're up to it. So Welfin's pretty skeptical about this whole plan. He knows that if he does this, if he plays the messenger boy, the paper boy, basically the king is going to get pissed off that he's being used as a pawn. His own people, his own soldiers being used as a pawn by his enemies. So the king is probably going to get pissed off and kill him. So Welfin's like, alright, well, in his mind he's thinking, I'm going to play along with this, but once I get out and away from them, I'm gone. Screw that. So Palm's over there analyzing the situation and she's thinking, he's probably not going to carry this out. I should use my technique, her surveillance technique, to track him, to figure out what, basically to watch what he's going to do. And Akalgo's like, chill, I got this. You don't need to do that. I got this. So Akalgo revealed that he knew Welfin when they were human. Well, they were buddies, they were friends when they were human. They were both working under Gyro back in NGL. Gyro was their leader, if I'm not mistaken. And Akalgo also knew Welfin's human name, Zykahel. So after Akalgo revealed that they were friends in their former life, he knew his real name, he knew about Gyro. Welfin was basically like, he came to the conclusion that he was fighting for the wrong side. So that's why Akalgo didn't want Palm to use her technique, because it basically would have been a waste. So Welfin agrees to be the messenger boy, the paper boy basically, and as he's driving out of the complex in the truck, he runs into YOUPI. So Welfin tells YOUPI all about the exchange and all the things that happened, and YOUPI's like, okay. All of a sudden YOUPI starts to cough, and I'm like, oh snap, it's about to happen. And all of you manga readers know what I'm talking about. So as YOUPI is flying away, Welfin asks YOUPI if he had any former memories of his life, and YOUPI basically says, that's a dumb question, don't ask me stupid questions. And I think that was a key indicator that he probably wasn't Gyro, because if you remember, Akalgo said that he didn't think that Gyro was dead because all the rest of them were alive, so why would Gyro be any different? So Welfin's like, alright, well, YOUPI's probably not Gyro, so I'm just gonna go ahead and kill him. So YOUPI's like, who the hell do you think you're talking to? Who do you think you're dealing with? You're nothing but a punk. I'm a royal guard. So YOUPI gets upset, but then his nose starts to bleed. That was a key indicator that something was wrong. First he was coughing, now his nose is bleeding, he's sick. So in the next scene we go to the king. He's in the West Tower, he's just walking around trying to regain his memory. He's moving large rocks and stones and pieces of debris from the battle. All of a sudden we see a game piece and the king's face lights up and he's like, well, hello, what is this? dies, and all of his memories start to flood back in. And at this point, I'm like, Poof, you screwed up. So we go to the next scene. We go back to Poof. Poof has finally finished hypnotizing the citizens, so he's headed back to the West Tower. He looks to his left while he's headed back, and he sees a truck, and then he also sees something on the ground. So he flies over there to the ground, and what do we see? We see YOUPI in a puddle of his own blood, dead. And Poof is just like, he's probably thinking, who could even beat him? But he's just in complete shock. He's just like... So we go back to Palm. Palm is watching this whole entire situation play out. She has her eye covered. She's using her surveillance technique, and she's looking at Poof, and she notices that YOUPI is on the ground dead. So basically she's watching this whole entire thing play out. The king doesn't give a damn whatsoever. All the king wants to know is where Pito is, and if the game is over, if this contest is over, I won. So you need to explain to me what you've been hiding from me. Then we have the camera slowly move to the ground, and we see that the king has like drawn out a little diagram of the board. Poof looks at that and he's like, oh shit, man. He's gotten his memory back. Game over, man. Game over. So we go back to Akalgo and Palm. Palm is trying to explain to Akalgo that Komugi is special to the king, but they really don't know how. And the royal guards are divided in how they feel about Komugi. For example, Poof is trying to kill Komugi, but Pito is trying to save Komugi. So there's like a division in the royal guards about how they feel about her. Akalgo is like, that's impossible because chimera ants are loyal until death. But Palm explains to him that once you mix in human genes with chimera ant genes, they become unpredictable. Palm thinks that the king won't be able to use his N to find Komugi because if you remember in the last episode when the king used his N to detect all of the nin users outside the palace, it's like he didn't know that Komugi was there. And Palm explains that she was using her hair to cover up Komugi, so the king wasn't able to detect her. So she thinks that if they can cover up Komugi, they can basically hide her somewhere and wait until the king dies. Akalgo is like, what are you talking about? Wait until the king dies. So Palm's plan is to hide Komugi until the king dies. Palm saw YOUPI die, so she's thinking that the king is going to die also. And then we see an image of the bomb. Like there's this image with the bomb, and she's probably thinking that something related to the bomb, maybe it's some sort of radiation or something from the bomb killing the royal guards, and it's going to kill the king eventually. So she wants to hide Komugi until the king's dead. So Palm and Akalgo take Komugi to a warehouse, put her in a box, close it, and put her on a shelf, hoping that the king won't be able to use his N to detect her, and they're just basically going to wait it out until he dies. So in the last scene of the episode, we see Poof coughing up blood like crazy, and that's the end of the episode. This was a great episode. I really enjoyed it, and it doesn't matter if you just watch the anime or you read the manga. We all can pretty much tell at this point that the bomb that killed Netero, something from that bomb is affecting the royal guards and affecting the king, because throughout this entire episode they were all bleeding. I mean, Poof is coughing up blood, YOUPI's nose was bleeding. Something related to that bomb is killing them off. Let me know what you guys think though. Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts about the episode. Subscribe to my channel. New videos weekly. That's it. See you next time.